You are 40 years old, maybe 43, maybe 47, and you have exactly $0 saved for retirement. What if that voice is completely wrong? Today, I'm going to ask you a question that might keep you up tonight. How much do you think you need to invest every month to reach $1 million by age 65? Most people guess $3,000 or $4,000. They assume the ship has sailed. The real number is about $850 a month. Not $3,000. Not gambling on crypto or finding the next moonshot. Just math. You have 25 years, that's 300 monthly cycles to execute a rescue mission in your future. Today, I'm giving you the exact blueprint to do it. First, let's take the shame out of the room. Over 54% of American households have zero dedicated retirement savings. If you feel behind, you aren't alone, you're in the majority. But here is what nobody talks about. Feeling behind and actually being behind are two completely different things. The real problem isn't your age. It's the paralysis of analysis. We spend so much time worrying about the time we lost that we waste the time we have left. Today, we fix that not with hype, but with logic. Let's walk through the numbers. We are using an average 8% annual return. Now, the S&P 500 has historically done about 10.5%, but we are using 8% to be conservative and account for inflation. If you invest $850 per month for 25 years at an 8% return, you land at approximately $1,046,000. Think about that. $850 a month is roughly $28 a day. That is a takeout lunch and a couple of coffees. One of those choices disappears the moment you eat it. The other choice compounds into a seven-figure safety net. This math assumes you never get a raise, you never increase your contributions, and you never get a bonus. It is the floor of what is possible, not the ceiling. You pick your path based on how much volatility you can stomach. Blueprint 1. The set and forget. This is 80% S&P 500 and 20% bonds. This is the smoothest ride. This is boring, but boring is what builds millionaires while the day traders are losing their shirts. Blueprint 2. The inflation shield. Here, we replace bonds with REITs, real estate investment trusts. You're essentially becoming a digital landlord. You get the growth of real estate without having to fix a toilet at 2 a.m. Blueprint 3. The aggressive accelerator. This is for those who are willing to see their balance swing up and down in exchange for a higher 10% or 11% return. At 10%, that $850 monthly investment doesn't just hit $1 million. It hit $1.1 million nearly 4 years earlier. Here is the secret of the J-curve. The first 10 years feel like a grind. You're doing all the heavy lifting. But around age 55, you hit critical Massachusetts. Your balance hits roughly $334,000. At this point, an 8% return generates $26,720 a year in growth. Do you see what just happened? Your money is now earning more per year than your actual contributions. This is the moment you stop saving and start owning. The goal isn't $1 million, the goal is hitting that first $100,000 milestone as fast as possible. Max the match. If your employer matches your 401k, take it immediately. That $850 goal might only cost you $500 out of your own pocket. The tax shield, open a Roth IRA. If you're over 50, use the catch-up contributions. The IRS actually gives you a speed boost for starting late. Because discipline will always outperform motivation. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on structure. And structure is what creates results. When you automate your investing, you remove emotion from the process. You're no longer negotiating with yourself every month. You're not asking, should I invest this time? The decision has already been made. The system runs whether you feel confident, afraid, tired, or distracted. That's powerful. Automation turns wealth building into a background process. Like oxygen, silent but essential. Every paycheck becomes a trigger. Money comes in, a percentage moves out, and your future gets funded before your present has a chance to spend it. And here's the truth. What never hits your checking account never tempts you. You adjust your lifestyle around what remains. Humans adapt quickly. If you consistently invest first and spend second, your brain recalibrates. That's how ordinary incomes turn into extraordinary outcomes over time. Most people don't fail financially because they lack intelligence. They fail because they lack consistency. They wait for the right time. They wait for clarity. They wait for confidence. But clarity comes from action, not the other way around. So let me ask you something honestly. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does the stock market intimidate you? Fear usually comes from misunderstanding. Volatility feels dangerous when you don't zoom out. But long-term investing isn't about predicting next month. It's about participating over decades. The people who benefit most aren't the ones who forecast perfectly. They're the ones who stay invested long enough for time to do its work. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are not behind beyond repair. You are simply at a decision point. The past is irrelevant to the math ahead of you. The only variable that matters now is whether you begin. Imagine reaching 65 with assets that generate income on their own. $1 million invested conservatively at 4% can produce roughly $40,000 per year without you touching the principal. That's not luxury yacht money. That's independence money. That's grocery bills covered money. That's stress-reduced money. That kind of income changes how you experience life. It gives you margin. It gives you leverage. It gives you peace. But building wealth is only phase 1. Preserving it is phase 2. Taxes, inflation, emotional decisions. Those are the silent threats that erode portfolios. That's why education doesn't stop after you invest. It evolves with your net worth. Before you click away, pause for a second. Wealth doesn't come from one brilliant move. It comes from hundreds of ordinary ones executed repeatedly. $850 a month might not impress anyone at dinner. But 300 months of execution, that rewrites your future. There will be moments when progress feels slow. There will be years when returns are flat. There will be conversations where someone brags about doubling their money overnight in something speculative. Stay grounded. Sustainable growth rarely makes headlines. Consistency is rarely exciting, but it's incredibly effective. 25 years from now, no one will ask how thrilling your strategy was. They will only see the outcome. Results silence doubt. Picture this, you're 65 years old. You log into your account. The number starts with 7 figures. Not because you got lucky, not because you chased trends, but because years earlier you committed to a process and refused to interrupt it. That's the difference. No drama. No gambling disguised as investing. No desperate attempts to catch up overnight. Just mathematics meeting patience. The plan itself is simple. The challenge is psychological. Delayed gratification isn't flashy. Watching money compound quietly isn't addictive like quick wins. But it's dependable. Temporary discomfort, allocating money you could have spent, is small compared to decades of financial strain. Regret compounds too, just in the opposite direction. So here's what matters now. Set up the automation tonight, even if the amount isn't perfect yet. Increase it gradually as your income grows. Prioritize that first major milestone. Protect your downside. Let time amplify your discipline. Time is moving whether you participate or not. The calendar will flip. Birthdays will arrive. Years will pass. The only question is, will your investments grow with them? Start today. Even if it's modest, even if it feels small. Small actions repeated consistently become massive outcomes. If you're serious, make it tangible. Take one concrete step before the day ends. Open the account. Adjust the contribution. Activate the transfer. Then commit publicly, even if it's just a simple "I started." Momentum begins with movement. If this perspective shifted how you think about investing, support the message so it reaches someone else who believes they're too late. And if you want practical strategies built on logic instead of hype, stay connected. Your future self isn't asking for perfection. They're asking for action. Make them proud. So here's your move. Before this video ends, take 60 seconds and set up your first automatic investment. Don't overthink the amount. Start. Then go to the comments and type, "I started." That one sentence turns an idea into a commitment. If this video gave you clarity, Hit the like button so it reaches someone else who thinks they're too late. Subscribe if you want simple, no-noise, math-based wealth strategies every week. And watch the next video right now because building the million is step 1. Protecting it is step 2. Your future self is watching. Make them proud.